I'm a rapper, I'm not a poet. Poet, I'm not a rapper. Guess it's opposite there, cause you niggas just got it backwards. Got me sick to my stomach. Go up on my lantern. New trios, Frio, the most terrible tandem. Deliver shock value, but no, not Timberlanding. Critical observation alerting you ambulances. Clap on and clap off. Rap on and rap off. Hard times for hard rhymes, that concrete, that asphalt. If I did look twice, I guess that's her asphalt. May I assist you and score, get my pass out. Matter of fact, it's what you need. Need some rest, you just fatigued. See, technically I'm foul, and Mrs. Wallace, I'm Rashid. Know this beat is a banger, have no reason for anger. If I'm slightly deterred, you know I'm giving the finger. I'm a savage like Corey, but not in need of Topanga. Right like 90 degrees, you in the need of an angle.
Welcome to the FreeLunch Podcast. This your boy Tight, and I got BG with me. What's going on, BGZ?
Hootie hoo! FreeLunch Podcast. What's happening then? What's going on, Tight?
Hootie hoo! Man, I'm doing all right, man. I'm a little tired, but I think I can make it through for the next 45, 50 minutes. What about yourself?
Yeah, I feel good, man. I'm ready to get to this podcast and do like we do always about this time.
Hey, but I need you to explain to the people prior to us hitting record, hitting start, what were you just doing?
I was just out there getting my garden together, getting my fall garden together, planting a few turnip greens, a couple of rows. Man, it's in my blood, man. I'm connecting to my roots. So, yes, I just came in from planting that seed.
So you was out there planting some turnips.
Yeah, planting some turnips, man. Had to get my rows straight. Had to, make sure the ground was right. Put that fertilizer down. Sprinkle them seeds in that thing. Cover it up. Put a little water on it. And now we waiting.
Where you learn?
So you see the dude, when you see me parked on the side of the road or you see me at the farmer's market, holler at me. Come get you some of them turnip greens. The community garden is in full effect, baby.
I'm saying, yeah, they're supposed to be the community garden like Black Jesus. You going to have some of them tomatoes out there?
Well, that's a summer. That's more of a spring summer vegetable. So yeah, when that time roll around, I had them too. I'm had a whole block locked down. So get at me. Support my trap.
Well, okay, I need you to have the garden on the website. I need you to develop a community garden website so folk can purchase them turnips and them tomatoes.
Yeah, we can online ordering and we do deliver, right?
Hey, I'm Crump.
Free lunch, baby. It's all free.
I'm Crump.
You Crump?
Crump. Dog, if the people could see me right now, I'm Crump.
What got you so amped, man?
I got my wife beat on. Correction. I got my tank top on.
Dog, you X-rated, ain't it?
I got my shades on. I'm Crump. Just got to
you X-rated.
Just got to listen to T.I.
Okay then.
I'm ready.
I like it, man. That's what it's all about.
I'm ready because of the topic. Because you sent that email today.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay, I'm ready now.
It's a good topic. It's one of them that you can get excited about, huh?
You ready? They go ahead. Since I'm so crunk, let's give the people what they want.
Go ahead, give it to them.
I'm gonna switch it up though.
Switch it up.
I'm gonna do a medley of choruses.
A medley of choruses?
Yes.
A compilation.
Choruses. And for the first one, just for the first one, I'm gonna need your participation.
I gotta participate. All right, what you need me to do?
For the first one, and then when you hear me going to the next one, then you can stop. Then you can stop with the participation and just let me round it off. You ready?
Okay, then. All right.
So all I need you to do is say "get 'em."
Gotcha.
That's all I need you to do.
Gotcha.
All right.
Ready.
All right, go ahead.
Get 'em.
Whoop that trick.
Get 'em.
That trick.
Get 'em.
That trick.
Get 'em.
Whoop that trick.
Get 'em.
Nuck if you buck.
Boy.
Nuck you buck.
Boy.
Give you buck.
Boy.
Nuck if you buck. Walk around the club, bump everybody. Can't see, can't walk, bump everybody. Don't bump everybody. Can't see, can't walk, bump everybody. Crump.
I'm in my own zone. Hey man, y'all, they listen to that up there?
Hey, this ain't got nothing to do with up here. I'm ready. You, based on the topic, I'm ready to fight. that fighting music. You say when you said the email, I thought we finna talk about fighting, ain't it?
We some head busters. Okay then.
We some head busters. We some head busters. You say that what the email said. We gonna fight.
I bet you the people so confused about what this finna be about. I hope we don't let nobody down when we do reveal what we talking about.
We ain't talking about fighting. Okay. If we ain't talking about fighting, if we not talking about fighting, then what's on your cotton picking, pea picking, corn shucking, knee jerking, triple X rated, misguided mind? Shout out to Bishop of the Black Belt.
Yes, sir. So what we talking about is the workplace. We talking about surviving the workplace.
Yeah, you said surviving, so I thought you were talking about. I thought we ain't talking about that fight.
It definitely is. For some of us, it definitely is a fight. It's a fight from the time we clock in until the time we leave. And so today's conversation is just going to be focusing on how tedious and how stressful the workplace can be, let alone the jobs that some of us have, the actual work and the attention that is required for our function, but even just dealing with the environment, dealing with management, dealing with coworkers, some of us that work in service-oriented jobs, dealing with the public and customers. So when we talk about being a head buster and being in the mode of ready to fight, we're talking about just that overwhelming stress and frustration that comes in the places where we spend most of our time, which is the workplace.
So I when I read the email, you said surviving, so I had the tank top on and I had the shades on. I thought we about to fight.
Not today. We're gonna say that for another day. But we do acknowledge how sometimes it does feel when you in there and it's getting close to 11 o'clock and the people are on your nerves and you ready to go to lunch. You do want to, drop somebody from time to time. So we understand your pain, dog. But we're gonna just talk about it today. We ain't gonna fight it out. We're gonna talk about it today.
Okay, so on that second portion, when we start talking about different ways to how to handle surviving in the workplace, I may have to disassociate myself with that portion of the podcast.
Why you feel like why you got to separate from that part?
I ain't got the answer, Sway.
Well, as long as you honest.
I ain't got the answer, Sway. This is what I'm struggling in right now.
Yeah.
Or I've struggled with. Let me correct myself.
And I say that it's just, a lot of us, especially those of us in the, the age range that we are, age category that we are, mid to late 30s, early 40s, working in these jobs, coming in, maybe the first, maybe the second generation within our families to hold some of these careers that we hold. It's tough. It's tough because you find yourself in a situation to where, people are not relating to you. They're not relating to what what you're dealing with, what you're bringing to the table, what you had to overcome to get there, and just your perspective and your approach to certain things. And so we find ourselves left out in the dark for the most part with nobody to relate to. Administration can't relate to us. Our peers and coworkers can't relate to us. And be it that we are the first or seconds from our family to do certain things, family may not even understand what it is that we're going through and may even be putting extreme pressures on us as well because of what we do for a living. So it's just a situation where you can sometimes be isolated, and then being in that isolation and then being in that position of not being understood, there is a great deal of frustration that can fall upon a person. And the workplace is filled with, that type of sentiment, that feeling of frustration and nobody being cooperative or willing to work with you. And what do? You put me in a team, but my team don't want to work with me. So now what do I do?
So let's take a step back then. You done dive right into the meat of or the bulk of the actual conversation, but kind of give some reference or some framework around how we even came up with the topic to kind of discuss it.
So we talk. We have our close friends. We have supporters of the podcast that talk. And, in our community, we share a lot of things. We share all of the things that are going on in our life, the good and the bad. And the unique thing about it is that in our network, we do have a great deal of people that are going through the same thing. And the work situation is one of those things. And so I had a lot of dialogue with friends that are just ultimately complaining about what's going on in their workplace. One person, has progressed theirself up into a supervisory position. Being it young, that's a tough spot to be in because you find yourself being a supervisor of people that may be 20 years older than you, may have been in the job that they're in for that long or longer. And so the chances of them being willing to take your leadership, take your criticisms, take your encouragement, and move forward is slim because they're looking at you as the little kid. They're looking at you as a youngster. And some people are coming in, fresh out of college. They've got the paperwork and they go right into these supervisor positions. And they really are behind the 8 ball because the people that they're supposed to be leading are going to be looking at them like they don't have the experience or don't know what they're talking about. So that can be frustrated when you're granted the task of leading a team. You've got your supervisors that are expecting you to lead the team and get the numbers and get the production, but you're getting kickback from the people that make up your team because of something as petty as you're young. And then for you and I, factor in where we come from in terms of the region we come from, and factor in our background, our racial background, which adds a whole nother layer to it. So you've got that thing going on. And then you just got the friction that you find in working with people. In your workplace, it's an assimilation of people coming from different backgrounds, coming from different beliefs and values. And we all know that that's a difficult task when you try to bring all of that difference together to achieve a common goal. So that naturally creates this tug of war. And then if you run into a set of personalities that aren't willing to give, that aren't willing to sacrifice, aren't willing to meet in the middle, like what's needed in any good relationship, you're going to have problems. And people talking behind your back. And people may be jealous of certain things because of the differences that exist. And that creates, difficulty and puts a whole roadblock in what you're trying to do. And so when people run into these things, my friends that I talk to about it, it just really frustrates them to the point of they want to fight. They want to fight somebody, or they want to quit. Just tell the people that they can have a job and move on and do something else, or they get so frustrated that the quality of work just declines. And they say that I'm not going to deal with this stuff. I'm just going to go in here, punch this clock in and punch this clock out, and whatever happens just happens. So it just affects the quality of the workplace and the quality of the work that people are putting forward.
So essentially, just to kind of paint the picture for the audience members, I mean, besides the conversations that you and I have on a regular basis and the conversations that our peers have, a few of our close friends and who also happen to be listeners, have also been pretty much reiterating and echoing what you and I have talked about in the past, or what a group of us have talked about in the past, to where essentially just going to work every day can become a tough thing to do. Just getting up and saying, okay, I got to go to work, simply because for multiple reasons, as you just laid out. So I guess what we want to kind of do is really continue the conversation that you kind of started, and really just talk about some of those factors, right? And you mentioned a lot of them on the front end, with that being simply just the company's culture. So in a lot of instances, the culture of a organization or of a company is set from the top, and it's kind of pushed down to the bottom, to the grassroots. So it's a top-down approach where those at the top kind of set the culture and set the tone of the company. And it may not even be the company's moral as a whole, but it actually may be your direct or indirect supervisor, or however many levels up, may have that power or that influence to kind of set the culture and the tone of that particular workplace environment.
Right.
And so I guess one of the things I heard from you in the opening is kind of how those cultures, or those supervisors and that leadership that really sets the tone, may not even be able to relate to you and I. And when I say that, is the lack of diversity and the lack of inclusion at those levels. So just like in any other situation, if there's lack of representation, then others can really, how can they relate, or how can they sympathize with a group of individuals when they have no correlation or no connection? Is that kind of what you were saying?
That's one of
your points. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things, definitely, that we've already talked about previously, and it comes up again and again and again, and it just reigns true that in a situation like that, and especially in a hierarchical situation, to where you have supervisors and you have people that are working on those supervisors, the best leaders or the best supervisors are those that are able to look at the total employee that's working for them, finding out that individual's personality, what motivates that person, because each person is different. And so a good leader is willing to look at all of those things and manages or supervises to that person's strengths.
That would be
and
my
to their character.
And you know what? And you said something interesting, right? Because that would be my perspective too. But you know how often I've learned, and how I continue to see most leaders today kind of lead by the book. And when I say the book, what they read, you know, me and my dad had a conversation a few months ago, and we kind of had this same topic that we were discussing, and he kind of talked about how most of the leadership now kind of lead by something that they don't read in the book, and if they read it in the book, then it must be right. And so I just found that interesting, because I kind of agree with your perspective that we all are different people, and we're all unique. So you really need to adapt your style and your leadership way to that of the individuals. And I kind of learned that two ways, right? So, you know, I used to coach Little League football, and when I was coaching Little League football, what stuck out to me was I would study other coaches from different sports. One of those being the great John Wooden, previous UCLA basketball coach, and he said something that I could apply to Little League football, and I've actually kind of taken that to any other leadership, to any area where I'm actually being a leader, or I'm leading a group of people, and that is that, you know, they asked him the question, how did he coach? How did he win so many championships at UCLA? I think he has 13 or so. He has a record. And he said, and then how did he coach these different personalities? So essentially, you know, he coached Bill Winnington, and he coached Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and a lot of alpha males with different personalities, and he said that each year he coached 13 different people. And that kind of rung a bell with me because, coaching Little League football, I kind of learned that me yelling and screaming at one young man may not work for the other individual. He may shut down. So just having that awareness to adapt my leadership skills and my coaching skills kind of helped me, or has helped me, to grow. You see what I'm saying? And I know we kind of got off on a tangent, but I guess the point I was making was that, to me, a good leader is someone that's able to recognize that you have a diverse work group and a diverse work group of people, and you would want to create an environment where it is inclusive and it really takes into account all of the different personalities that are working for you.
Yeah. And I think the thing about that is that a lot of people that are in those situations of supervising or managing or leading often go with the principle of my way or the highway. Whatever I say goes. Mm-hmm. And from my observation, it seems like that's a way, or really is the result of them overcompensating because they don't really know what's going on. So they're leading a group of people in a particular task or project, but they don't know, they don't know those individuals' job. They don't know how those pieces that each individual is bringing to the table will affect the overall goal.
Nor do they know how that work how to motivate that individual, right, to do the work. Because, I've worked with multiple people or multiple personalities where you give them something, they can run with it, and they can make lemonade out of a lemon, or whatever the saying goes. But then I work with other personalities where you have to tell them step by step what to do, because that's the only way they know how to operate. So you really got to be able to manage between the different types of personalities and understand that individual. But to your point, I think in a lot of ways, it's my way or the highway kind of perspective. And to me, that's kind of ego. That's an ego. That's ego getting in the way.
It is. It's overcompensating because they want it to seem as if that all of the success and everything that happens was due to their own effort. It was due to their own mind and their own thought process. And so they suppress everybody else. They suppress everybody else by not trying to tune in to what motivates that person, that employee. They don't even want to tap into that, because by doing that, they got to give up themselves and sacrifice something to be open to somebody else. And that takes too much. So it'd be much easier for me to just say, hey, this is what I want done. Do it this way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
But then
the effect that has on the employee is detrimental.
Oh, 100% agree. And it creates a workplace and an environment where people aren't motivated. People don't even want to go into the workplace. And then you have others where you'll have instances where the leadership may have a friend or may believe in this one individual. So provide that individual with unlimited power over their peers. So that's another example where that creates an environment in a workplace where you don't see where it's a workplace of being equal. And or where you don't see that leadership or that management trying to develop your skill set. So you may be one of the most eager, willing to work persons, but if I'm telling you got to do it this way, and that basically eventually that's going to turn me into thinking that I'm just another pawn in your game of chess.
And it kills the morale within the institution or within the establishment, because people know that. People sense that, and they feel that. They feel when they've been downgraded to a second-class citizen. and their work is not going to be at a high level. And it's just funny to me that in most of these situations, you go to and report to these people every day, and it's like they never even observe the fact that the people that are coming to work under their leadership are fading on them, that the people don't even care. And they don't even stand to make any adjustments when it's obvious that they're losing their employees, that the employees are totally frustrated, they're mad, and they're just discouraged about the whole process. Good managers notice that, and they look within themselves and say, is it something that I'm doing that I could be doing better to boost morale? Bad managers just keep on moving with business as usual. And then they'll have these little pep rallies and all this superficial stuff and call it morale builders or company builders and never really get to the essence of the true problem. So that just creates frustration. That creates frustration, especially for us, with most of us who are go-getters. We want to do good work. We want our work to matter, and we want our work to be appreciated. But the worst thing that you can do with us is to make us feel like what we're doing is not worth a hill of beans.
Well, let me ask you this then. This kind of transition to the next topic I kind of had was programs, right? You talked about morale boosters, which I've seen that too many times, where you may spend your entire weekend working on something and you get a $25 gift card, American Express gift card, as a sign of appreciation. And that is supposed to supplement, the extra hours that you put in, and it kind of erases when you go into these however you get your performance meetings, and those kind of things seem to be forgotten. But that's kind of a totally different topic. What I wanted to ask you was like morale boosters and different programs that are put in place, right, to kind of to do exactly what we're talking about. What are your thoughts on these different programs that seem to get manufactured and put into place to kind of deflect some of the conversation that we're talking about when it comes to working in the workplace?
To me, and the ones that I've experienced, it seems to tap into what we just talked about. Somebody made a decision. I came up with the bright idea that, hey, this program would be a good program because it was something that they liked. It was something that they were drawn to. And they say, hey, let's do it. We're going to do this. And everybody, we're going to spend a week and we're going to do this, and it'll be fun and it'll be great. But never once before you even thought to bring a program like that have you sought out what are the needs of your employees. What are they missing? What would they like to see better? And then tailor the programming to their direct needs versus you just coming up with an idea and saying, this is what we're going to do with it. And then the whole week is wasted because you hadn't touched one of the issues that your people really have. It's just a waste of time. And so I really definitely, when we have a program or something, I'm really likely to tap out and be text messaging or playing on Facebook or something, because it's the same old speech. It's making the same old promises. We're going to do this. We're going to love each other. We're going to sing Kumbaya. And then when we come back the next week after all this is over, we end up in the same situation. So to me, it's a waste of time. It doesn't address the needs of the people. And then if you look deep enough, it was one person's idea, and they're getting all the accolades for coming up with the program and organizing the program, but the program never really accomplishes anything. And
to kind of mimic what you just said, but also kind of show the correlation between that topic and the first one. I think a lot of these programs that get put in place, and when I say programs, I'm just talking about these morale boosters or these I&D kind of programs where you get leadership, or you get someone, and it's normally the same. It's either the same people that we talked about in topic number one, where or it's just a lack of diversity and a lack of inclusion when even developing the programs. I think there's sometimes such a disconnect between the top and the bottom. So at the top level to the grassroots, that because of that disconnect, the actual issues that the employee or the employees may be experiencing kind of gets lost. So even the programs that are put into place that may be put into place for good intention. Some of them, I can make the argument they're just put into place to for other various reasons. But for those programs that are put into place to really make a difference, I think you really have to have the right voices on those panels. And it's hard to get the right voices on those panels when creating these programs for several reasons, right? Number one, you have the employee that's been an employee for over a decade, and they've attended so much of these sessions to where they, like you say, they tap out and they don't even want to participate, knowing that at the end of the day, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same old business, same old outcome. And then you got the second employee that goes in there that's extremely motivated and wants to help, but then becomes intimidated to say anything because you don't know what you say and how you say going to affect your personal career.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, you know, you have these programs that are created and developed by the same persons that are essentially pushing down the culture, or that's creating the culture and the tone. And they don't really hit and they miss the mark when it comes to identifying what the issues are.
And don't forget about the subjective component to where they're picking people that they like, or picking people that came in from a certain place that they just have a subjective affinity for and less of an objective affinity for. So that might be a panel of decision makers that basically stem from the same line of thought. You have no diversity. You have people that have similar values and similar wants and desires and stuff like that. And so everything follows their line of thinking, and you have no diversity or no opposition or different perspective to balance things out. So don't forget about that component too.
100%. Well, then let's take it one more step before you provide like some skills of dealing with it. But number 3 is dealing with your peers. So say you have peers, and you kind of talked about this in your initial opening about how, you know, you may come in and me and you can experience this 2 different ways, right? The first way being we could be managers and supervisors over a group of people, and that group of people, we may be older than them. So we may have conflict from that perspective, or the second conflict may come from how you mentioned cultural, just being from a different culture, and then you working with your peers and having conflict from that perspective. What are your thoughts on that?
And this is the big one. I think this is the one that everybody can attest to, is just the people working beside you and how they treat you on a day-to-day basis. And I guess how you treat them when you report to work every day. And this is the thing that really drives people wild, because it comes in so many different areas. So, you know, so like you say, it could be just a demographic thing where people have some type of bias or something based off of age, or have some type of bias based off of gender or race. But then you might just have people that just don't like you because of your position. You come in and you might have a higher grade position or be making a certain amount of money, making more than the person beside you. And they like how he make that kind of money. You know, he don't do half the work I do, but he making that kind of money. And so you might just have friction with them just based off of that alone. Or, then you got people, go ahead.
Or just because you come in and having a good day. You would not believe how many times people have tried to intentionally ruin your day because you walk around with a smile on your face.
Amen.
You walk around with a smile on your face. You speak to people. You say hi. You conversate. Want to see how people doing. And I've experienced where people literally ask you why you are smiling. Literally.
Or you speak to them and they don't speak back.
Oh, people.
You just like you talking to a room full of nobody.
Good morning. And you know what I do back? I say it again. Good morning. I say, good morning. How you doing? They don't say nothing. Good morning.
And then the next day, turn around, they speaking. It's like what is this? What is it? Or you got somebody when you make up your mind, okay, I see how y'all want to do. I'm gonna come here. I ain't saying nothing to nobody.
What's wrong?
Then 2 days later, something wrong with you. You angry? You know something wrong with him. Like no, ain't nothing wrong with me.
Y'all ain't want to speak to me.
Y'all ain't want to speak to me 2 days. Now I come in here and I'm on one. Now I got the problem.
Now you got the problem, but
He's an angry black man.
So, but that's the perfect example of do unto others as you had them do unto you.
Exactly.
Because you know too many times how you've gone into a workplace and like you said, you might speak good morning. They don't say nothing back. 2 days later, everybody won't say good morning. Well, hell, the last 2 days I done tried to say good morning. Nobody's speaking, so I ain't speaking either. I'm coming in and put my headphones on and I'm going to work. Oh,
not all that talking today.
You're not having a good day, huh? He's not having a good day.
You the talk of the office then, boy. Y'all better watch him.
Y'all better. What? I'm telling you, I have literally had someone ask me, "Why are you smiling?" What you mean? What you mean? Why am I smiling? Why are you not smiling? Why are you so uptight? We're gonna be here for the next 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours together. We might as well get along.
And if you're not careful, that'll destroy your whole day because you'll be trying to figure out why is it that I can come here and speak and nobody can acknowledge me back, or you got a pleasantry, you compliment people and they got something negative to say. And that'll bother you all day till you go to sleep that night.
Yeah, it will. Or they'll try to find some more extra work for you to do because you smiling.
True.
Well, he's smiling, so he must ain't got nothing to do. Let me send some more work over there to him. I'm telling you now, I done seen this stuff happen. I done experienced it.
And then outside of just the pettiness that you talk about with that, you've got people that are out to backstab you, see you fail.
This is true.
They don't want you to succeed, so they setting up plots. They scheming. They talking about you to other people, trying to get people against you to build up a case on how we can run this person out of here or get them out of the position that they've gotten to because they don't like you being in that position for whatever reason. So you got to protect yourself against that type of stuff, the lying and the deceitfulness that goes on in a lot of these workplaces, especially those type of workplaces where you're working in close proximity to other people and you can't just break away from them. Like you dealing with them all the time. You'll have to deal with that. And I've heard a lot of stories like that, ranging from peers, same age group, to older people. So you know it exists, and it probably is not going anywhere.
So with that being said, you tell us the how we supposed to survive in the workplace. I ain't got the answers.
I ain't got the answers either. But what I do know is just some of the things that have worked for me, that keep me calm. Some of it is just my attitude and my disposition. But then some of it is just practice and mind frame when you go into these places. You go into the place knowing you pretty much, after a certain period of time, you pretty much know who gonna do what. You know the sometime people. You know the people that's gonna speak every now and again.
But I'm gonna tell you something else that I picked up on. It's something about that spirit though. And it's something about us having this intuition and being able to pick on someone else's spirit towards us, or their soul, or whatever you want to call it, because it's too often where I've worked, and I've noticed this more and more. But you can walk into this doesn't even have to apply to work, but since we're talking about the workplace, you can walk into a workplace and you can start sensing who's for you or who's against you, or, I hate to use the word against you because that'll be something that they'll say that they're not, but people that's trying to assist you and help you out. And you can start sensing the evil vibes that from people. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. It don't take long.
I'm just saying you can just start sensing it, and they don't have to say anything. And they may say something, and their actions may actually be the opposite of what they are giving off. But deep down they say something ain't right about this dude or this person, this woman or this man.
Yep. Body language and all types of things. You just get that feeling. Yeah, I've been in a situation like that. And so you kind of know who gonna do what. And so you approach that workplace like that all the time with those expectations. So if I know that this person is a sometime person, with their speaking or their smile or their greeting, I'm gonna do my part, but then I know to not expect much from them. So I got low expectations. I got low expectations for my supervisor. As long as he's there, he's proven himself that he's not, don't know what the job is. He's not in tune to the job that we as the employees do. He has no idea about that. So I'll answer questions when asked of me, but I'm not going to get upset when a bad decision is made, because he's proven, or he or she has proven, that that's what they're going to do. Now, the only thing that I really can do to take action on that is to try to get that position. And that's a story for another day. Right. So, a lot of it is just knowing. So the first thing that I would say is just be confident in the position that you're in. And don't let anybody discourage you or tell you any different, because if you weren't supposed to be there in that position, you wouldn't be there. So you're qualified and you got what it takes. And so approach it that way. People will probably come into your midst and question it, question what you're doing here, question why you're here. May even say that your work is not up to a certain standard. But if they're not in the position to tell you to do any different or fire you or anything like that, you just keep right on rolling because you are supposed to be there. Don't be distracted. It'll be another thing. You will always have things out there that'll distract you from the task at hand to get you off track and lose focus. Gossip is one of the big things. I run into this. You'll have certain people within your work organization that are big time. I want to say another word, but we cleaning up our language. They stir up a lot of mess. I'll put it like that. Right. So they'll pick and choose who they bring the mess to, and will try hard to get you engaged in the mess. And if you get too far gone in it, then you'll be the one that initiated it. And so everybody will be looking at you as the person that started the mess. That's a good point. And now you off track from what you're supposed to be doing because you're dealing in the gossip and all that kind of stuff. So you definitely want to stay away from that. Don't take anything personal. Don't take anything that somebody says out of the way personal. Just know where it come from. You dealing with somebody that don't know the job, can't do their own job. You definitely not gonna listen to what they got to say. All you tell them is worry about your own stuff and stay out of mind. And don't take this stuff home, frustration home, and try to start looking at your life and looking at yourself in the mirror. Don't take this personal. And then lastly, I would just say, be a psychologist in the workplace, kind of like what we talked about. Take a minute to observe your surroundings. Know who's who, who does what, find out what those people's triggers are, and play the game. You know, work is really like suiting up and going to play a game. You put your work clothes on and you going to play another quarter of the game. Everybody else is approaching it that way. So why not you approach it that way and be ready for the defense, be ready for the people that's going to come at you with the stuff you're trying to make your day go sour. Listen to the people that's giving you good information. Take it and run with it. And do what you need to do to position yourself to get to the next level. Now, I ain't saying get into the whole thing about setting people up and conspiring and doing all that kind of stuff so you can get a person's position. I don't recommend that. But be willing to go to these company parties, even if you don't want to go to the company party. Go to the meetings even when you don't want to go to the meetings. Do those things that you need to do to build your credibility and position yourself to where nobody can say you're not a team player. Nobody can say that you're not engaged in the process. Nobody can ever say that you don't care about where the organization is going. So those are just a few things that I think about, and I have to constantly remind myself when I change work environments or go into a different situation within my organization. And it kind of helped me. So, like I say, I don't have the answers. Then that's not what I'm proposing. But those are just some things that I think about and have helped me up to this point.
But you know, one thing to add to your last one was kind of from the 50 Laws of Power, where they basically say move off strategy and not emotion, right? Because in a lot of those situations, you can get upset, you can get mad, and then you can make a emotional decision. So kind of try to find ways to really think about when you say strategy and be strategic. Make certain that you're strategizing and not moving off emotion.
Yep,
that's a good one, man.
That's a good one, man.
So we ain't talking about beating nobody up.
We ain't talking about beating nobody up this time because we don't we don't condone violence on this podcast.
We do not advocate for violence, and the opening vine that we did was strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, and I just hope that, you know, to all the people out there listening, stay grounded in these jobs. Don't be discouraged. It's gonna come. You're gonna be in these situations to where people are just not going to work with you. A lot of the decisions that might be made above you don't make sense. You know, they're in charge of those things, and so you just got to go with it. But keep yourself grounded. Keep it in perspective. Don't allow it to affect your quality of life and your balance. You know, it's a job, it's a career, but it ain't everything. So just put it in perspective and don't let it, you know, destroy all those other things that you have going good for you in your life. And it'll be all right. Just see it through.
And lastly, ask yourself or try to understand what life is teaching you from that experience. Because I'm the true believer that life is our friend. And from life, we learn about what our purpose is and what our calling is. So try to, at the same time, understand what you're supposed to take away from that work experience to better leverage and use to fulfill your ultimate purpose and calling. So that's all I had.
And if you get to any point where it just get too hard for you, reach out to us. Reach out to the FreeLunch Podcast, and we'll be more than willing to share some words of encouragement to keep you boosted, keep you pepped up, keep you crunked up so you can get through that 8 hours or that 10 or that 12-hour shift. So you can hit us up, freelunchpodcast.blogspot.com. Drop us a message there. You can hit us up also, FreeLunch Pod C on Twitter and FreeLunch Podcast on Instagram. We look forward to hearing from you.
For entertainment purposes only.
Turn up.
Well, it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's butt. It's a bad day, so you better stay off my back. You might get cold cocked. if you cross me the wrong way. Well, it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's butt. And we out of here.
Out of here, FreeLunch Podcast. Gone.
I'm speaking it awkwardly. Charles Barkley barking, they ain't biting. I'm getting that green broccoli. Properly giving props to the problem, fulfill prophecy. It gotta be better than that. It gotta be obsolete. Obviously, niggas rolling the dice, and this ain't Monopoly. My purpose was to do it on purpose. Fucking apology.